Now, I'd like to congratulate President Young on winning the presidency of our parish. We have great hope and optimism for your administration. You have said you'd end backroom deals and secret commissions. You've pledged that your administration will be free of conflicts of interest, and you have committed to having an open and transparent government. You have said that you will give us honest government, and we are counting on you to do all these things. We are, however, impatient that not enough has been done to punish the individuals in government who have violated the public trust. We need you to do this. We need you to restore trust and confidence in our government, as you've said you would do. We need you to clean up the corruption in our parish government. We need you to help whistleblowers in parish government who are being harassed. You said we are changing the way we do business in Jefferson Parish, and these are the types of words we wanted to hear from you, and we need you to follow through on this. Please don't let us down. Now I'd like to talk about some of the issues in the Legislative Auditor's Report issued on October 6, 2010. This report indicated that former Parish Attorney Tom Wilkinson and former Parish President Aaron Broussard may have violated Louisiana law regarding payroll. These employees were hired with the title of paralegal, even though they did not have the proper credentials. These individuals were carried on the payroll of the legal department, even though they didn't work for the legal department and they didn't perform the duties of paralegals. According to RS 14:138, this constitutes payroll fraud. Now, in a March 4th, 2010 letter, Deputy Parish Attorney Louis Grunt stated that he had advised the parish president and the parish council that any violation of alleged violation of this criminal statute by any parish employee should be referred to the district attorney's office or the legislative auditor's office for investigation, if appropriate, in accordance with RS 24:523. I'd like to know if any violators or alleged violations have actually been referred. Probably not.
I'll speak on that,
okay,
if you'd like. Do you want me to wait till you finish, or?
Okay, speak.
Okay. I asked, no, we won't hold this against the time. I asked that same question. I was told that a copy of the report that we received was also forwarded by the Legislative Auditor's Office, both to the U.S. Attorney's Office, in addition to the District Attorney's Office and the Attorney General, the state. They would have to decide at that point what agency is the appropriate one to enforce that law, and which I guess evidence would be necessary for them to bring charges against anyone who's named in the report. In addition to that, I spoke with Budget and Research and talked with Louis Gruntz by email relative to restitution associated with any funds that would have been received by any of these individuals, and whether we were in a position to file civil suits, which is really our only option since none of them are employed by the parish any longer, to recoup those monies. And I believe Mr. Gruntz has a response to that, and Louis, I'll ask you, if you don't mind, if you can share with me or share with everyone what your response was to that question.
Well, it was been suggested by the criminal investigatory agencies that we not proceed with any civil litigation now because it would interfere with their criminal investigations.
And as far as restitution, I think you were provided some assurances that if criminal charges were brought, that restitution would be made as part of those cases.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate that response. Now, employees who are aware of illegal actions by other employees of our government are required to report them. Now, many people, including the heads of departments to which the previously mentioned paralegal, people who had the title of paralegal, the departments to whom they had been assigned, the heads of these departments had to know that these so-called paralegals were being paid out of the legal department's budget, even though they were not working for the legal department. And since they were not working for the legal department and were paying out of the legal department's budget, there's something that's wrong about that, and it's called payroll fraud. But these people knew. The department heads had to know. Other people had to know that these individuals were not doing the work of paralegals, even though that was the title of their position. So we have to conclude that the heads of these departments to which these so-called paralegals had been assigned had to know that payroll fraud was being committed. Did any of these department heads or any other employees report this misappropriation of funds to the district attorney or to the legislative auditor's office that were required to report this. But it seems that many people knew this was going on. And unfortunately, the corruption in our government was known to many people. Nobody ever talked about it.
30 seconds left.
Okay. Has anyone other than whistleblowers who are unfortunately being subjected to harassment by our government ever reported any wrongdoing in our government that was actually referred for criminal prosecution? Instead of acting on the legitimate reports of wrongdoing made by whistleblowers, in some cases, our parish government has been willing to waste large amounts of taxpayer dollars on outside attorneys to defend the wrongdoers against the whistleblowers. This is wrong, it's unacceptable, and something needs to be done about this. President Young, we trust that you will not tolerate illegal actions by parish employees, and you'll see to it that wrongdoers in parish government
Wrap
are
it up,
punished. Okay. We also trust you will see to it that whistleblowers are not harassed, as you've previously indicated to us that you would do. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Good afternoon. Your name and address for the record.
Good afternoon. My name is Betty Purcell, and I live at 8700 33rd Street in Metairie. I would like to cede my time to Margie Seemann so she can finish her speech. Would that be all right?
Sure.
Thank you.
Okay. Well, I don't guess I have to say my name again. Okay. In response to another recommendation of the legislative auditor, ex-President Steve Theriot stated that as of July 14, 2009, the parish implemented a policy to retain all public records until a plan is approved by the state archivist. And he mentioned that U.S. Attorney Jim Letton had issued a preservation of records notice on January 27, 2010. However, Citizens for Good Government has found out about 2 instances in which public records were apparently disposed of illegally. On June 7, 2010, Mr. Lonnie Robinson, Superintendent 2 with the Drainage Department, was requested to locate some documents which were probably in response to a public records request that we had made, because the documents he was asked to look for, I recognized the content of them. And he was told by an administrative assistant in Drainage Administration on the West Bank that the documents in his filing cabinet in his former office on the West Bank had been removed and thrown away without his knowledge. Mr. Robinson, who's a whistleblower and has been subjected to harassment, had not had access to his office on the West Bank since he was supposedly temporarily transferred to the East Bank at the end of September 2009. Mr. Robinson filed a formal appeal about his records being thrown away with the Personnel Board, but it was dismissed because the board does not have the authority to correct any of the alleged wrongdoings. All we know is that documents were apparently thrown away sometime after September 2009 when Mr. Robinson was moved to the East Bank. Since this was a criminal offense, we believe our parish government has an obligation to do something about it. After all, the Personnel Department and others in government became aware of this violation of the requirement to preserve public records when Mr. Robinson filed his formal appeal with the Personnel Board. We also had a number of first-hand reports that some documents on Jefferson Parish's West Bank had been removed, transported, and buried. We were even able to obtain the names of the individuals involved, and we reported this to the U.S. Attorney and others. Although Mr. Robinson provided information about this to the District Attorney's Office in an in-person interview, as far as we know, nothing has been done about it. It appears that the individuals with first-hand knowledge of this violation are afraid to publicly report it for fear of being harassed or fired. President Young, we hope that you will see to it that these violations of the requirement to preserve public records are investigated. In the past, these offenses have been ignored, and there have been no consequences for the individuals responsible for these apparent criminal actions. President Young, we're optimistic that this unacceptable behavior in overlooking wrongdoing by our parish government is going to change in your administration. We look forward to a Jefferson Parish government that we can be proud of, without fraud, waste, and corruption. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, let me ask one question if I can. There's allegations that documents were buried?
Yes. And in fact, I can give you, I wrote a long report on it.
Okay. Do you mind sending me that?
I absolutely would be thrilled to send it.
Okay. Thank you.